Oh, hey, eighth graders. Oh, hey, Caesar. All right, my friends, it's Cinco de Mayo. It's 8:48. You know what that means? Tuesday night. How many of us have turned in our Chapter 11 review? Caesar, who's going to win? First hour or sixth hour? First hour, 21 kids, still missing seven. All right, that's 75% of them. What about sixth hour? How many kids in sixth hour have turned their work in? 15, still missing 11. First hour wins. Can I thank those kids again that are doing the work? You're amazing. You're becoming smarter. I love you guys in a totally appropriate way. Caesar, isn't it cool that they're doing their work? Uh-huh. Even Caesar agrees. So if you didn't watch the video this morning that I posted, which you should have, everyone should be watching everything I post, not only to help my ego, but to also learn something here. But again, one more time, the chapter 11, making sure you have the right answers. What we've been studying was the Industrial Revolution, machines taking the place of humans, changing the way we live. It was capitalists who invested capital or money into businesses with the hopes of turning a profit. They bought the factory, the machines, they paid the worker. They were the first one to get money when profits started coming out. So all these things come together, like the idea of mass production. Instead of making things one at a time, we're going to mass produce large numbers of identical objects. We're going to put those objects together in a factory, machines, workers, one place. You're leaving your house to come to work in a place called a factory. You're probably going to be putting together interchangeable parts. Now, what was that? Well, it was something any old idiot could do. Even unskilled workers could snap together part A to part B and then pass it to the next person. So, life in the factory, amazing, right? No. That's right, Caesar. It was tough. There was not a lot of light. There was very little, no fresh air. The machines were dangerous. You could get your finger arm caught in there. If you got hurt, the company didn't pay you for time off. If you didn't work, you didn't get paid. And most of the time, you were working 12 to 14 hours a day, 6 days a week. All of those things put together made for a tough life in the factory. But nonetheless, people needed jobs. They were losing them on the farm, immigrants coming to this country. So cities are growing bigger and bigger at the time. The growth of cities is called urbanization because, again, rural means country, rural, rural. That's right, Caesar. And urban means city, urbanization, the growth of cities. Now, why were people moving to the cities during the Industrial Revolution? Well, again, they were losing their job on the farm, and factories hired unskilled workers. Factories were in the city, so you moved to the city to be close to work. Now, if you move to the city, again, beautiful living, right, Caesar? No, that's right. The early cities were nasty. They had filthy streets, no sewage, poop and pee, smelly stuff all over the place. Not a lot of clean water, disease, everything's on fire because it's made of wood. All that stuff combined made for tough life in the city. All right, lads, dog, you've been talking industrial revolution, new innovations, new technology. That was stuff like the telegraph. It helped Eastern markets talk to the Western markets and sped up communication into hours rather than weeks. That was pretty cool. Farm equipment, growth of cities, because again, you lost your job on the farm, you had to find a job in a factory in the city. Maybe you're making clothes in that new factory. They have these new things called sewing machines that can produce clothes in mass quantities. That made clothes less expensive, cheaper. You and I could now have maybe 4 or 5 shirts. Think about that. This fancy sweater. It looks good. Yeah, I agree, Caesar. It is a good looking sweater. Now, you want to ship those raw materials from the West or some of those finished products from the East. Steamboats, clipper ships, railroads. It's all going to make it faster and more efficient. Huge wave of immigration into the country at this time. Cheap land, a chance to make money, maybe life not so good in their homeland. All those things combined, people are leaving Europe and headed to the United States. But when they get here, they're not all that welcome. Nativist, they prejudice, discrimination. They want to keep America essentially white and immigrant free. So immigrants faced discrimination and hardships when they came to the United States. Back to that new technology and innovation, the cotton gin. It didn't pick the cotton from the fields, but it separated the seeds and processed cotton faster than it could by hand, 50 times as fast. So now we need more cotton to get to that cotton gin. By the end of 1860, there's 4 million slaves in the United States, controlled by the slave codes. Laws is designed to strip them of their rights and humanity. They couldn't learn to read or write. They couldn't meet in large groups. They couldn't own property. They could not leave the property without permission. Basically, this is to prevent revolt and rebellion. Most of the time, slaves too busy to be doing anything. They're doing the heavy labor in the field. They tried to resist in some ways. They worked slowly. They pretended not to understand what was going on or what to do. They broke equipment. Some of them escaped. Some revolted. All of these things they tried again to resist slavery. We'll get back to slavery in a second. Turnpikes and toll roads required you to pay for them. But basically, roads are being built in this country. Canals are being built to ship goods because, again, water is faster than roads at this point. But back to the slavery issue to end the chapter. Missouri Compromise, the first attempt to fix this slavery problem, but it didn't work. It was basically drawing a line and said no slavery here and slavery here. We all know drawing a line doesn't work. That is chapter 11. We submit our work. I want to view my score. Since it's ungraded, it's not going to have any score. Total points, 0 out of 0, but go through and make sure all those check marks are green. If they're red X's, figure out what did you do wrong. Learn something. Am I right, Caesar? Yes. Hey, besides that, my friends, I'm sorry that we weren't in class to talk about this wave of immigration. When did your family come to the United States? How long have they been here? What country did they come from? You know, Laszlo's family from Italy and what's now would be Latvia. We could have talked about that. I would have loved to rap to you about the Erie Canal, guys. You realize, again, they basically dug a river across the state of New York that connected Lake Erie to the Hudson River to the Atlantic Ocean. I mean, thousands of Irish immigrants that literally dug a river across the state. It was a monumental achievement in engineering, that Erie Canal. And then finally, I'm really disappointed. Unchained Memories is a really powerful video. If you have not watched it yet, again, you can YouTube it. It's a firsthand account of what slavery was like from real slaves during the 1920s before they were all dying off of old age. The United States government interviewed the slaves and got a firsthand account of their experiences. It's really powerful stuff. I think you'd be a better person if you watched it and had a better understanding of the horrific practice of slavery. Again, watch Unchained Memories. That was chapter 11, my friends. I had a lot of fun with it. I hope you guys learned something. Moving to chapter 12 starting today, but good times. Caesar, say goodbye. Bye-bye.